I had the chance to interview character actor Ray Wise, best known as Leland Palmer on Twin Peaks and Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. Anybody who knows me knows I'm an enormous Twin Peaks fan. Like, I watched it when it originally aired. I loved everything about it. I'd already been a fan of David Lynch from Dune and Blue Velvet. Twin Peaks was just revolutionary on television, and I remember watching it my senior year of high school. Having this opportunity to talk to Ray and interview him about his whole career, it was just a blessing. He's worked in so many movies like Rising Sun, Robocop, and the list is just enormous. Ray happened to be in Columbus, Ohio. I got the chance to do this interview. Hope you enjoy. We talked a little bit yesterday about that term character actor.
Yeah.
Because it's like you are one of the classic character actors. You've been in literally 300 films, roughly?
About 125 films, but over 300 productions. That includes television.
Yeah, because you've been in so many TV shows and guest starring roles and stuff. Like you did one also I haven't heard anybody mention. So it was Mad Men.
I was on Mad Men, yes. I was on I had played a recurring part on How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, yeah.
I was in the 5th season. I was the vice president on 24.
Yes, 24 I've heard about.
Yeah,
I've seen those clips as vice president.
I've touched all the bases, you know.
It's quite a career.
Yeah.
But again, the big ones. Let's talk a little bit about Robocop.
Okay.
Which is one of the classics. It's like you were one of the henchmen.
Yep.
And that was...
I was number two, Leon Nash.
Leon Nash.
All in black.
And the greatest thing with that was you had that great quote from Paul Verhoeven. What did he say after every take?
Oh. Anyway, we are fucked, I suppose.
He meant it as a joke, so everybody took it as a joke every time, or did it actually feel like you don't know because he's the crazy Dutchman?
Yeah, he's the crazy Dutchman, and he said that all the time. I'm not sure he really meant it, but it was just his way of saying that everything was going according to plan. Yeah.
And so that was, I mean, that's the first thing I remember seeing you in myself in my youth, but then, of course, Twin Peaks was probably the thing you're most famous for by far.
Probably, yes, yeah. Uh-huh.
And
yeah. Worldwide, you know, it played in over 75 countries, and I made movies in Spain and Italy and in Romania and Bulgaria, and they all knew me, from Twin Peaks. Yeah.
And you've also done some Star Trek, which this is something from like the for aspiring actors at the time wasn't getting on Star Trek like the ultimate residual check, wasn't it?
Oh yes, the gift that doesn't stop giving.
Because at the time, Star Trek was being played all over the planet. And
well, same with Robocop. I'm still getting checks for Robocop, and that was in '87.
You grew up in Akron, Ohio.
Yeah.
So how did you get from Akron, Ohio, kind of into the industry as a whole? Like you went to school and took drama classes,
well,
right?
I did. No, I never went to. I never had drama lessons or acting lessons. Okay. What I did was I started doing community theater right there in Akron at a place called the Weather Vane Theater, and I did it very early on. And in school, in the junior high and in high school, I did all the plays. I did all the skits in the assemblies.
What's the advice you give for aspiring actors and actresses that want to get into film and television today?
Well, if you have the desire, you have to have the determination. You have to stick to it and know what you're capable of, and know that try to make an assessment of your own talent, and just stick-to-itiveness. You have to be determined. And no one can change your mind. Your mother, father, friend telling you, forget about it. Don't forget about it. If it's a passion, if you love it, then go after it. That's my advice.
And going along with that is, how did you handle kind of the adversity of not getting cast when you could going up for parts and didn't get it? What motivated you? What kept you going?
Well, that happened to me every day. I look in the theater page where all the movies are playing. I said, I should have done that one. I should have done this one. I should have done that one. And it is true. I don't feel slighted, or I don't feel bitter about anything really. I know that I've lost some very big roles just by a little bit, and but I have my share of good ones too. So I'm not going to complain about anything. I'm a working actor, always have been. I've not had any bad lows. I've had a few highs, but mostly I keep a consistent through line of working, and that's the way I like it.
List off some of the directors you've actually worked with. Paul Verhoeven, of course, David Lynch, and
John Schlesinger, yes. Paul Schrader, David Lynch, yeah. George Clooney, old George directed me too, and Tim Robbins, of course. Yeah, a bunch. Yeah.
just top notch. So let's talk about David Lynch as a director. What was the most unique bit of directing he gave you as an actor? What was probably the most unique thing he said?
I was in an ADR session for a Fire Walk with Me, and David was sitting next to me, and an ADR session is where you dub lines, you replace dialogue. And I just looked at David and I said, referring to the Twin Peaks series, I said, well, David, we hit it out of the park there for a while. And he said, well, we did when you were batting, Ray.
It's interesting because, everybody wanted him to do a sequel movie.
Yeah.
And he did a prequel movie.
Which
and he got to bring you back in a lead role after you got killed off early in season 2.
Yeah.
You got to come back as a lead in the movie.
Yes.
How different was his directing on the feature than it was on the show?
Well, on the show, he only directed like maybe 4 or 5 episodes tops, including the last one. So and we had many other directors, all very fine movie directors.
Leslie Lincoln.
And Leslie.
Caleb Deschanel directed a bit, didn't he?
Yes, and Tim Hunter.
Tim Hunter is a very good director.
Yeah,
big HBO guy now, right?
Yeah. So we had good people, directing us, and when David came, he did the last episode to wrap it up, and I think he was dissatisfied with the way the whole ending came about, and he wanted there to be more of a capping solution to the world of Twin Peaks, and so he decided on the prequel, showing how we arrived at that girl wrapped in plastic.
Mm-hmm.
And the prequel was Laura Palmer's nightmare.
So that leads me to something interesting about Twin Peaks I haven't heard anybody talk about, which is, what was his direction when it came to the Red Room? Like, how did he make mention of how it differentiated from more or less the other reality of the show?
Oh, yeah, anything went in the Red Room, I was floating in the air, hanging by a wire, and bleeding, and then Bob takes his hand and takes the blood and throws it on the floor. Now, that can't happen anywhere in reality.
But what was his direction like with that?
He would direct and speak of it as though it were the most ordinary, natural thing in the world to do. Of course, Ray, you're going to hang, and then he's going to grab the blood and he's going to throw it on the floor. And he felt the same way about creamed corn. I don't know where he got that, but that's the way he was. He would take something that was the most eccentric, wild idea, and make it completely normal.
Would you describe that's kind of what he was like as a person in some ways?
In some ways, yeah. But he was a totally normal, regular kind of a guy, and he dressed the same. His closet were full of the same T-shirts and black sport coats and the beige pants, and he loved that cap that he had on usually, and that was his wardrobe. So he didn't have to think a lot when he got up in the morning to get dressed. Never bothered him. This guy, his head was just full of ideas all the time, from the time he woke up in the morning till the time he went to bed at night.
There's like a dichotomy to his interests, especially between Blue Velvet and Twin Peaks, which was he seemed to have this interest in the 50s version of America, apple pie purity, and then the dark underbelly of modern times, even from 1990 to now.
Yes, he's from the 50s version apple pie idea. That was his childhood. He was an Eagle Scout, for goodness sake. Now, who of us can claim that?
Not many.
Not many. And so that was his upbringing. And of course, that's what shaped his personality and everything about him. And
but where did the darkness come from what he viewed?
The darkness has come from his belief that no matter how normal the surface looks, if you go underneath, it's not so normal. Underneath, it's roiling. And that's in every small town. That's with every individual. You know, he believed we all had our secrets that we never tell anybody else.
And that's kind of what he explored the most in his work.
Yeah. And there's always one secret that you'll take to the grave and never tell anyone. And we all have them.
Knowing now how deep he studied Buddhism, it was interesting that your death scene came from Buddhism, like what he recited.
The Tibetan Book of the Dead, yes.
Yeah, that's related to Buddhism, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yes. Well, it's that part of the world. It's all linked together, you know.
Yes.
And it all manifests itself also in transcendental meditation, which he was a disciple of and a fervent believer in it, and preached it every chance he got, you know. And I remember when we were shooting the series, when lunchtime came around for that hour for lunch, he went in his trailer and meditated. He wasn't eating, he was meditating. When he came out, he was charged up, full of energy, ready to go. And I always admired that so much of him.
And is it Frank Silva who played Bob? Once you realized that kind of like he was inside of you, how much of his performance affected yours?
None
at all.
None. Even
when you were mirroring each other in a literal mirror.
None. I never thought about him for a second.
You just went with your own on it.
Yeah, I was always Leland in my mind. I never thought about Bob or what impact he had on me. No.
Because again, I mean, you guys did it so eloquently last night. Is like that whole final episode with you in it, where it's fully revealed. Both the episode before where you did the murder and then the episode where you die. That's like an actor's dream role. Like, what was your preparation like for that? How much prep did you do on your own for those scenes?
God, you know, that scene was such a revelation to me, and it gave me such a release and a sense of redemption of the character, and I felt it as an actor very deeply, that I really didn't need a whole lot of preparation to go into that. Tim Hunter directed that episode, and he was quite good, and I just it just followed as the night the day. I knew what to do, you know.
What is the real differential between being directed by a TV director versus a film director? Like film sets, it's kind of like the director is God, and in TV shows, it's the executive producer, showrunner. So what are the responsibilities of the director of an episode of TV versus the director of a film? Well, like from your seat as an actor, what is that biggest difference like between those two?
Well, the film director will let you take your time. They will let you have your moments. They will let you pause when you would like. The television director doesn't want pauses. He doesn't care if you get your moments. Just try to get the lines out, okay? And let's move on. It's always a schedule proposition. You know, it's movie directors will, and David is that way. You know, he will take his time, and he won't be rushed. And if you do, look out. If you try to rush him, forget about it.
What
third season of David Lynch, although I feel slighted that I'm not in it more, is pure David Lynch.
Like unbridled, unfiltered.
Unbridled, unfiltered. And that one episode came out of his brain.
Ooh. I know you're talking about the black and white nuclear test episode. That is exactly, I've watched just that episode probably 12 times.
Oh, yeah. It's brilliant in every way. And that's him in a nutshell.
Because it wasn't about logic or making sense or resolving anything. It was about, how do these images make you feel something? Do they make you feel something?
Exactly. Eraserhead is that way. Elephant Man, even Elephant Man, probably his most conventional
That
film.
and The Straight Story.
And The Straight Story, wonderful. Yeah.
Just reflect on David for a minute about, again, like, how different was being directed by David Lynch compared to all the other directors you've worked with? Like, how was it different, and how did you feel about it?
Well, in the first place, he made the set a very happy atmosphere, a very happy experience. We woke up every morning as actors in our beds, in our homes, come to the studio, and we were looking forward to the day. We were happy that we were going to be doing this today with Mr. Lynch, and he had that effect on the actors and on people in general and on the crew. And he made it fun but relaxed and just allowed you to explore and be your creative best. That's all. That's really all I can say about that, because he was something else. I haven't experienced anyone like him since. And I've worked with a lot of directors, and he had a language with actors. In the first place, casting was everything to him. So he would only cast actors that he was simpatico with, that were tuned in to his wavelength, sort of, and so the language between the actor and David was very little. It didn't take many words to express exactly what he felt and what you felt and what you should be doing. It didn't take very much.
He didn't explain his purpose, or he didn't have answers for you either, right?
Never.
It's not like the cast was working on it and you had secret knowledge that the public didn't get either, right?
He would have answers from moment to moment, but never any of the conclusive big answers. He would never delve in that. He was a believer that I'm going to show you this. You come up with your answer. You don't want mine. That was David.
What is that directing like from a TV director in terms of performance? Are you pretty much on your own, or is the table read where some of that's decided?
Table read a little bit, but I've always had that ability to be able to handle it on my own if I don't get any outside help or interference.
Depending on which kind of director they are.
Exactly. Yes. But when it's a good director and he has something to offer, I'm all for that. Help me out. I can use all the help I can get. But if you can't do it for me, I'm perfectly capable of doing it myself.
Well, that's the beauty of you as like a character actor, is they kind of know that you can bring it to the table, and you've got such a broad range of comedy, drama, sweet guy, bad guy, all, like, you can do almost anything. Yeah. So how do you describe that versatility, and how important is that to you as an actor to be able to show that range?
It's thrilling. I mean, it's so important to me. I take a great deal of pride in thinking that I can do just about anything within the limits of a human being. I can pretty much cover all the territory.
What does it mean to you to be able to experience things that you don't necessarily get to experience in your own life, like to live through a character in some ways?
Well,
how does that feel?
That's the beauty of being an actor, to live through those lives of those characters that you would never touch upon in your own life. I think that's one of the real reasons why we go into it in the first place, you know, and invest so much of our time and our soul in doing the work. It's for that very reason, to play other people in different lives. It's magnificent.
I mean, going to the movies is practically a religion for me. It's all about sitting in a dark room with a bunch of strangers and having that story unfold. And I feel like the audience becomes this collective, unique beast at every screening is different because of the different people that commune.
I love that. I love that feeling of community in a movie theater, unless you're chewing on ice. That drives me crazy.
For me, what pisses me off is anybody that comes in and talks, or I see the light of the phone
Oh my God.
in a movie theater, I get angry.
Oh,
I
yeah.
turn into the Hulk.
Yeah,
I turn into the Hulk, and I
Yeah.
just want to scream at someone.
I know. You have what is known as theater rage, movie theater
Yes,
rage.
I do.
Yes.
Like road rage, but
Yes,
theater
exactly.
rage. We talked a little bit about, you've done theater too, quite a bit, right?
Yeah, and all over the country, yeah.
Do you still do plays at all?
I haven't since around 2007 or 8, so somewhere around there. I haven't done a play since then, but I've done about 85 plays professionally.
Okay. So what's your preference between theater, film, and television? Which one's your...
Well, I love that. I love the theater for that immediate gratification that you get from a live audience right there in front of you. You know, that you feel their electricity, and you give it back. You know, but I also appreciate the movie making process very much. There's a lot of downtime. You know, that's rather tedious, but when you get to work, it's wonderful, and then it's captured forever, which is something to be said for that too. Television, I think I've guest starred in about 85 different nighttime shows. So,
And you start off, did you start in soaps?
I started in soaps, 1970. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Love of Life on CBS in New York. Yeah.
How was that experience doing soap?
Oh, that's what gave me my chops. You know, I learned. It was like it was a 3-camera show, and that's when I learned really how to act in front of cameras. Yeah.
The one person who's your collaborator on film and television that you rarely even meet is the editor. So how does performing for the edit go for you? What is that like? Do you take that into consideration? Like when you do different takes, are you thinking?
Oh yeah. If I'm going to give you some secrets now. If I'm in the middle of a take and I don't think it's going so well, I'll deliberately screw it up so the editor can't possibly use it.
I don't think you're the only actor doing that. I don't think you're the only actor that's done that.
No, that happens. But for the most part, I think it's going well, and in film, the editor makes your performance. So I can only do what I do on the set in front of a camera, and that's it. And then once it goes into everybody else's hands, and people cut it to pieces and so forth and so on, and everybody all the cooks add to the soup, it's out of my hands. So
What was it like doing scenes with Sean? What was that like?
for Sean Connery?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because understand, I'm such a Connery fan. I mean, when I was 4 years old, my dad started showing me Dr. No. So that was my James Bond. I didn't even know Roger Moore existed.
Oh, I was into so many conversations with Sean while we were making that movie. One about Robin and Marion. You know, you remember Robin and Marion? Yeah.
He had the same
love that
haircut I've
movie.
got.
And he said, yes, he said, that was a buddy picture between me and Nicole Williamson as Little John. Not about Audrey Hepburn. Yeah, he wasn't. I don't think he was that crazy about Audrey Hepburn. No, he didn't want it to be a love story really between Robin and Marion. He wanted it to be a buddy picture between Robin and Nicole Williamson as Little John. So yeah, it was, and we had some wonderful, marvelous conversations. But he was really hands on during the making of Rising Sun. he was right there by the monitor with the director, and the director didn't move on unless Sean gave his approval. So,
He had that level of power by that point.
and that director was Philip Kaufman. You know,
Not exactly a slouch.
not by any means. Yeah.
Bob Roberts.
Oh, one of my favorites.
Tim Robbins mockumentary that's rarely seen.
Oh,
You
my.
are so hilarious in it. Yet again, one of the rare chances for you to show comedy.
You know, I always forget that one myself.
Yeah.
I should always mention that because it really is one of my favorite movies that I've done. Bob Roberts, Alan Rickman,
Oh my God.
everybody's in there.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, and Susan Sarandon,
Yep.
Fred Ward.
Oh, just the whole movie.
I know.
I just remember because it's one of those things where it's like, this was in 92,
Yeah,
right after Twin Peaks, right before Firewalk with Me,
I
and
was
you're
hot.
banging out this hilarious comedy.
I was hot then, man.
That was your
I
time.
was supposed to be on the Letterman show, but that fell through. I don't know why exactly, but I was really. They wanted to. He wanted to say who was the killer of Laura Palmer. Yeah, but it fell through. I don't know why. I played Chet McGregor, his campaign manager.
Yep.
And it was just we had a month in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on that bus, like really running a real
Like a tour
campaign. Yeah, like a real campaign.
And didn't Tim say he never wanted to release the soundtrack because he was afraid conservatives would actually use them?
Yeah, the
He's
soundtrack
never
was
released
wonderful.
the soundtrack
Yeah,
because he and his brother wrote and performed all the music.
all the music.
That was the interview. I hope you enjoyed it, and we're hoping to get more interviews like it over the next several months. Like and subscribe.